Welcome to the Everybody Matters podcast, a show dedicated to the idea that when organizations care enough to show other people that who they are and what they do matter, they unlock the only business idea with truly unlimited potential. I'm Brent Stewart, your host. This podcast is now reaching Barry-Wehmiller. Don't forget to connect with us on the web at barry-wehmiller.com, on Twitter at Barry-Wehmiller, on Facebook and LinkedIn, and check out our blog, trulyhumanleadership.com. On this week's episode, we have an interview with a great leader with a great story. Dwight Perry is the founder of Perry International, a consulting firm based in Atlanta, who believes that the key to a more fulfilling workplace is through empowering its people. Crazy idea, right? Dwight came into our lives here at Barry-Wehmiller after he attended our BW Leadership Institute's flagship class, Beyond Benchmarking. Over the 2 days of that course, we share the critical decisions and initiatives we undertook in transforming our culture, including how we've ensured its sustainability, what happens when our model is tested, and hopefully the attendees will leave with the tools that they can then use in their organization to impact cultural change. After spending a few days with Dwight during Beyond Benchmarking, Sara Hannah, one of the managing partners of the BW Leadership Institute, wanted to share Dwight's story and insight with our listeners. So here's Sara and Dwight in a conversation about leadership, empowerment, and people.
I believe that ideas are connected to people. Mm-hmm. So what I try to do, I try to make people feel really, really, really bad for not following through. Because I do. And I'm honest with that, because the more we follow through, the better we'll be. Mm-hmm. We make excuses. Oh, it's a great idea, but I don't have enough time. That's a big, there's not enough time in the day. There are 1,440 minutes every single day. Every single day. You do have time. You are not making time. We make time for what's important. If we really believed in ourselves and our ideas, if we believed that they were important, we would make time for it. All of these innovators and creators, they do that. They do it. And we benefit from them. Because one day we all have to leave here, right? We're not staying here forever. And I understand that. My goal is to leave here empty. That's what drives me. I want to leave here completely empty. That I gave it all. So if I thought of it, I'm crazy enough to try it. Whatever it is, I just want to leave completely empty. And that drives me. So I don't, I'm not afraid anymore. I was afraid for a long time. Half of my life, more than half of my life, afraid of everything. Afraid to read out loud. I got the silent reader award when I was in 4th grade. How do you know if a kid is a good silent reader?
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
Right? You know, I didn't really talk in complete sentences until I was 4. That's pretty bad. There's kids that's talking at, 9, 10, months, 1 year, and I'm 4, and I'm like, I've been scared. I've been feeling like not enough forever. It sucks. And I decided to do something about it. And you know what? It's so much better on the other side. And I want people to get there. It's important. You should leave this earth empty. If something makes you sad, do something that makes you happy. People, right? I hate my job. Okay, why do you choose to go there every day? I need a paycheck. Is this the only place that produces paychecks? Well, no, it's so hard. So what? Try. You don't even know how hard it is until you try. You got this job. It's the same process that you see how we get in our own head. We create roadblocks for ourselves. They don't have to be there. So our life is short. I had a heart attack at 16. Right? The fact that I'm living is a miracle. I got into what should have been a fatal car crash at 19. So I've been really, really close to death, and it makes me value life. Nothing that any man or woman can tell me is scarier than being almost taken out of this world. I've already overcome things that are bigger than that. So this stuff, creating a program, that's easy. Creating an assessment, that's easy. Talking in front of people, that's easy. Changing people's lives, that's easy. Doing things I haven't done before, that's easy. Because at least I'm living. I have the opportunity to. I value a chance.
So Dwight, let's start out with just a little description of what it is that you do and the purpose behind it.
What I do. So I've developed this training program called Impact Development. And the purpose of it is to unleash people's maximum potential. People want to be a part of something bigger than themselves, right? That's we all want purpose. We all want to find a meaningful reason why we live and breathe every day. And I believe that being impactful, is the precipice of that. It will catalyze or be a catalyst for someone to do things that they didn't think was possible before. So that's why I do what I do, because I've been able to live it first, and now I get to teach it.
So you say you've been able to live it.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell a story of a time that was true for you?
So when I was in first grade, my teacher asked me a very basic question. She asked me what 1 + 1 was. And I was overly eager and excited to answer, and I answered with a answer of, this is 11. 1 + 1 is 11. Mm-hmm. And obviously, I know now that it's 2. Mm-hmm. But at the time, 11 did seem like a good answer. It was 1 1. It kind of made sense to me. And so my teacher, she took me out of class, and she said, Dwight, I want to let you know something. I said, what is that? And she said, you are dumb. You are stupid. I'm in the first grade. And she said, do you know what high school is? No, ma'am, I don't know what high school is. Don't worry about it. You won't be finishing it, right? And, she said, do you know what college is? And no, ma'am, don't worry about it. You'll never go. And that was the first real experience of impact to me. So impact doesn't necessarily have to be positive or negative. It can be both, or, it can do that. And, I believe that belief is when your mind and your heart align. So this was my teacher. So this was an authority figure in my life. And she told me I was stupid. And so I believed it in my head and my heart. And so for the next 17 years, I believed that. And then one day my life changed, and here we are. But that was the first kind of experience of impact for me.
So for a lot of people, that would have set a trajectory that you can't come back from. Mm-hmm. What allowed you to switch course?
So that's another story. So in high school, I was not a very good student. I was an athlete. So I was on the basketball team and track team. So I thought that was, as far as trajectory, I thought that was it. Okay, I just, if I could run really fast or play basketball really well, that will take me to where I need to go. I'm only 5'7", so I really didn't go that far at either one. But I actually asked this girl out on a date. Not my wife, but and she said I was cute, but she said I was too short for her. I'm going somewhere with this story, trust me. So I was angry, so I invented a way for me to become taller. Okay? So at the time, New Balance shoes were really in, and so I had a pair, and I was washing my face with a washcloth, and I had this great idea. Here's a washcloth, here's these New Balance shoes, maybe I should mix the two and become taller. And so that's what I did. I folded, 3 wash rags, and I got some gel insoles and put my feet in. I was 3 inches taller instantly. Now I had to wear jeans, because my ankles,
to make the whole situation work.
Right, you can't wear shorts with that, right?
Not with that
because your ankles are way out. But oh my gosh, I couldn't wait to get to school. Oh, I couldn't sleep. I'm at the bus stop at 4:30 just looking. And I get on the bus and everybody's like, oh my God, Dwight, you grew. And I'm like, oh yeah, my knees, it hurt so bad. It hurt so bad. And I'm just lying. And I actually see the girl, And she's like, oh my God, you grew. And I'm like, yeah, it had to happen. And she was like, you know what? How about that date? And I was like, you know what? I would, but you're too short for me. But the thing about a lie, it will always find you out, and mine found me out on a Friday. So we had a basketball game that day. Obviously, you can't play basketball with a shoe concoction. So I figure, okay, I can still play and nobody will really know. And we win the game. I run back in. I put my shoes on. I go out and I'm jumping up and down. And my teammate says, Dwight. I said, what? He said, man, what's hanging out of your shoe? So the washcloth was hanging out of my shoe, and it was actually pink. So that even made it worse. And so I got really embarrassed. Both sides, everyone was looking at me and laughing. And I went home that night, and I couldn't sleep. So about 2:30 in the morning, I got up and I walked outside, and I thought I was talking to myself. You know, I'm just talking. And I look up in the sky and I say, you know, why did you make me short? I didn't think I had a dumb problem. I thought I had a short problem. Okay. And I don't know if it was paranormal activity or Ghostbusters, but something talked to me. It's true. Something talked to me and said, Dwight, the reason why I made you short is because the things that I'm going to do with you, people would expect from a giant. And it changed my life. I immediately ran inside and I looked at myself in the mirror and I told myself everything that I wanted to be. I said, you're intelligent, you're handsome, you're going to be successful, you're smart. I mean, and I did it every morning, every night, every morning, every night, every morning, every night. And then one day, it clicked. And I realized that I didn't have to live with limits anymore. And I wanted to be smart. I wanted to act smart. I wanted to absorb all types of knowledge. And that changed my trajectory. And once I learned what worked for me, I figured out how to teach other people. And that became my passion. People feel like they're not enough. And we hide behind that every day. We come to work, have a smile on our face, and high-fiving people. But on the inside, there's this little nagging thing that maybe I'm not tall enough or smart enough or pretty enough or this enough. And it's absolutely, emphatically not true. It's not. You are enough. How you were created uniquely. And you have a specific skill set that can change the world. Everyone. Doesn't matter.
So how do you go from having those experiences personally and now you were standing in front of audiences like Google delivering this training? How to fill in that gap of how you translated a personal experience that was so impactful to you to something that other people can actually use?
I believe, and when I say believe, I literally believe that what I have is important enough that people need to know it. Mm-hmm. And so I have perseverance. The Google story is crazy. You know, I literally had a dream that one day I would do some type of training for Google. I had $1,000 to my name. This was July 2nd, 2012. And I was crazy enough to buy a plane ticket to San Jose, go to Mountain View, California, and go and talk to Google. Now, there was someone I knew, she was an intern at the time, but interns don't really have any power, right? But I flew there. She thought I was flying there for her, but I was flying there so I could,
starting
talk
to notice
to Google.
A pattern, Dwight.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Happily married now, though. But yeah, so I go there and she invites me to lunch and she's like, why do you have a suit on? Don't worry about it. I'm just this is how I dress. It's not how I dress. I was trying to be prepared, and I go to lunch and she goes to work and I go and find people ops. That's their HR, and oh man, it's so bad. So I didn't have a badge, obviously, to get in. So I just stood beside the door in hopes that someone would open it. And that happened, so I kind of breached security to go inside. And no one came down because I forgot that people actually worked there. So it kind of messed up my plan. So I was devastated. I stayed there for like 2 hours. Devastated. Like, oh, my God, I can't talk to anybody. Well, finally, I leave and I get upset and I'm like, I tell her, hey, look, I'm really here because I want to train Google. Is there anybody that you know that I can get just a 5-minute meeting with? And she said, I know one person. So I'll put you on her calendar. So I was put on the calendar and I have to wait for accept or decline. So my flight leaves the next day. So I need to know this like now. So I wake up the next morning. My flight leaves around 12 o'clock that day. So around 10 o'clock, I need to know if I'm going to get this meeting. Well, it's like 9:55. I'm like, forget the plane. I have parents. I'll get back somehow. And 10 o'clock happens, nothing. So I go out on the balcony and I just start ugly crying, like the nasty stuff. Like it was rough. And she runs in and says, you got the meeting. So I like wipe the snot from my face, obviously, and run there and I have 15 minutes. And she's like, okay, well, tell me about you. And I'm like, I got this thing, impact development, and it helps people and blase. And she's like, really? I'm like, yeah. I promise it's good. And she says, do you have a business card? I'm like, yes, I had one. And so I give it to her and she says, okay, we'll be in contact. So I hear nothing for 6 months, obviously. And I get an email. It says, Dwight, we have the student ambassador program that Google puts on. So it's for their newer employees and prospective students. And she's like, would you like to do it? Yeah. So I'm like, where do I have to fly to? I'll go anywhere. She's like, it's actually in Georgia. Aren't you in Georgia? Yeah, I am in Georgia. It was actually at University of Georgia where I graduated. So that was how I was able to do that. I believe in perseverance. If you have a dream, go get it. Just go try. You never know what'll happen. You got to put those seeds out. So
when you have that limited amount of time to explain what it is that you do, what is that 30-second pitch that you deliver to somebody?
I have to put this as pragmatically as I can. This training, impact development training, is for anyone who knows deep inside that they are not giving everything that they could, and they don't understand why or how. They don't know why they're not giving their all, and they don't know how to start. If you want to understand why and how, this is what you need. It's very practical. Fear, that's one of the things that stops us. My definition for fear is the most selfish emotion that we possess as human beings. And the reason why I believe that is because when you're afraid, now if it's a snake run, I'm not talking about that, but the internal fear, I believe that when you are afraid, you are selfish because you are only concerned with yourself. So there may be opportunities that may be presented for you, and it's, oh, well, they don't like me, or, oh, it's too far, or, oh, I'm not ready, or all of these things, when the opposite of fear is hope in my belief. Mm-hmm. If I overcome this, I give someone else other than myself hope. So when they're afraid of something, now I'm the why and how person. So now I get to spread that. So that's why I believe that it's selfish. That's something that holds us back. Trusting ourselves, trusting others. You can look in the dictionary. We don't even know what trust is, right? We have no idea. We know when we feel it. For me, trust is the security of your heart. If I am engaging with someone and I feel secure enough in my heart to give them information to be vulnerable, then I trust them. In my opinion, we trust things that are like us. We don't trust things that are different. Well, if you look at us as human beings, we have more things in common than we do that are different. However, our mind, cognitively, makes us look at differences. And that's what stops us from trusting people. Diversity of thought, I was just talking about this earlier in one of my classes. Diversity of thought is awesome. We need that. But it only works if we're having one common goal. We don't, when someone has an opposing view, typically we're like, oh, they don't know what they're talking about. It's my way. they don't see what I see. Well, you don't see what they see either. You know, I firmly believe people don't wake up in the morning and want to suck, want to give bad ideas, you know, want to be dumb. They don't. They literally see something that you don't see. But we don't take that. We don't value that. We just want it our way. These are some of the things that I feel like stops us, not just as human beings, in business, in relationships, in marriages. It stops us. So these are the things that we kind of talk about. Yeah.
Do you know what 30 seconds is?
No.
No.
I told you, I'm long-winded. I've gotten better over the time, but there's no clock.
That was great. So, bringing this into organizations as you've had, what do you see as the tangible result? They go through, you know, kind of the work that you do, and you've kind of beautifully articulated some of these concepts, which are really critical in terms of building culture in an organization. Do I understand how people are different or the same as me, and can I trust anyway? And can I see trust as really a generative act, right? If I give it, I will get it. And so what's been the result? And can you tell us a story of a time this really impacted an organization or a person?
Absolutely. I would have to go back to the Georgia Department of Revenue. So I was the first kind of consultant that they've had in the last 50 years. It is extremely hard to get government contracts. It is like the mecca of all meccas. And the way I was able to do it, they asked me the same question. You know, give me something tangible. This is the mushy stuff, right? These are soft skills. Give me the mushy stuff. Well, I've been able to develop an assessment. It's the first assessment that can quantify human emotion and impact use. It's called the IDEA, the Impact Development Awareness Assessment. So what this assessment does, it looks at 5 different critical components. It looks at how much fear is in an organization, how much trust is in an organization, how the dynamics of relationships are in an organization, how the self-confidence of the individuals in an organization, and how influential these people feel in this organization. And so it all compiles into an impact score. And so we're able to assess organizations first, and we break it up from the leadership to the employees, and it's separate data, and then we compile it. And so we're able to say, from a leadership perspective, you all have trust issues. Because you have trust issues, your employees don't feel like they're influential. So that's the awareness piece. So now, since we actually know, we're not guessing what's going on. Now we know what's going on. We can go in and fix it. And so it's taxes. So the specific department that I was in was taxpayer services. So it's about 150 employees that service 10 million people. Now, the actual call center that's actually on the phone, it's only about 40 people that service 10 million people. Angry people, you know you want your money. Tax season, where's my refund? And because of this dynamic, one, they didn't have enough people, and then they didn't have any resources. They didn't feel like the leadership trusted them with any of their ideas. And it's easy to say that, but now we had data to say, hey, look, they don't feel like they're influential. Now I went and talked to them and asked them why, and they said they've brought up this idea, this idea, this idea, this idea, and you shot it down. Why do you do that? So we're able to open up and have different conversations. So as far as the tangible results, so a win in the government is like talk time. So if you are on the phone with a taxpayer for 30 minutes, which was their average, that is bad. You should be able to do it within 10 to 12 minutes. So before I got there, the average was 30 to 35 minutes. Within 1 year, we decreased their talk time to 10 to 12 minutes. That is huge. Same number of people, more efficient.
So talk more about the results of being more efficient, but you're starting out with human interpersonal relationships and trust. Like,
Absolutely.
How do you get from one to the other in that scenario?
Well, there is no business without people. We don't have business problems. We have people problems. People don't quit businesses. They quit their bosses. You have to start there. Mm-hmm. You have to start there. One of the biggest issues that I've seen in organizations all across, the country is the fact that when I become a leader, when I lead from a positional standpoint, I have positional influence, it stops so many things. I feel like I have to be right. Mm-hmm. So even though someone may be, like where I'm at currently, Pharmatech, we have line employees, right? We produce powder, so we have line employees. Well, they do this job every day, every single day. But if they don't make decisions, or if they can't make decisions, then there is no way to incentivize them to be better. They know why they're frustrated. They know why they're frustrated. No one listens to them. So now we have an organization at Pharmatech where we actually listen to the employee from their level. Hey, how could this run better? How could it run better? You tell me. And from a leadership perspective, we're going to listen and we're going to start implementing things all over to help everyone. More efficiency. And we're seeing that now because people are more engaged. They're doing more. If you want businesses to run effectively, people have to do more. They have to do more. How do you get them to do more? You must connect to them. It has to be more than just a paycheck. So that connection piece drives everything else. All the ideas, all the hard working, everything that makes businesses profitable, it comes down to people and decision making and where that lies. None of the stuff that I'm talking about is rocket science, right? It's not. It's not. It's just not implemented. Mm-hmm. Sometimes the obvious answer is the answer that we overlook, and we shouldn't.
So what do you think gets in the way? If it's the obvious answer and everybody should implement it, what gets in the way?
Pride. I think so. See, we are fascinated with complexity because we feel like if I can make something complex, I am smart. It's pride. For me, if I'm able to make something pragmatic where people can understand why we're doing it, how we're doing it, and they understand how to do it, mm-hmm. I'm going to go way further than this person that has this complex idea that no one can implement. It just in my opinion, mm-hmm. that's what I believe. Sometimes we need to step back and say, well, what's the simple answer? And let that be our step one. Yeah, this great idea over here, that's awesome. But how do we get there? So there's a difference between being strategical and being, I'm getting tongue-tied, tactical, mm-hmm. right? So, and we love to say, being strategic. Oh, yeah. Well, this strategic idea that I strategically came up with and I'm going to implement it in a strategic way. We get strategic happy and have no idea how to implement anything. No way. Have no idea.
So what does the business world look like 20, 30, 40, 50 years from now when these ideas are more widely accepted? Paint a picture of what you would hope that would look like.
Honestly, it depends on who's leading, right? So if we have leaders that transition from position power to influential power, we're going to be a lot better off. We get position happy. Mm-hmm. I am a manager, I am a supervisor, I am a COO, I am a CEO. That means I know all. That will hurt us 20 years from now. And the reason why I say that is because the young generation, my generation, I'm 28, we don't respond to that. Mm-hmm. I don't care about your title. I'm smart too. It took you 40 years to get there. I can get there in 5. So, and that's why you see that in the workplace today. No one knows how to deal with us. Nobody understands what to do. You can throw money up, that's not good enough. If there's no purpose, if there's no engagement, you're gonna lose us. And within a year, 3 years max, we're already thinking about our next step. The hierarchy system, it's not gonna work. I don't see that 20 years from now. I just don't see it. And you actually see companies that go from that. They're not even doing that. I think it's Zappos. They done. We're getting rid of titles. People thought that guy was crazy. And if he's crazy, I'm crazy too. Like, let's just get the work done. You're not better than me. I'm not better than a janitor.
If you'd like to find out more about Bob Chapman and Ron Sizodia's book, Everybody Matters, The Extraordinary Power of Caring for Your People Like Family, go to everybodymattersbook.com for updates on the book, this podcast, and we've got a lot of great content and insight. Don't forget to connect with us on the web at Barry-Wehmiller.com, on Twitter at Barry-Wehmiller, on Facebook and LinkedIn, and check out our blog, trulyhumanleadership.com. I'm Brent Stewart. Thanks for listening, and don't forget, Everybody Matters is the only business idea with truly unlimited potential.